Hi, this is Jack at GR6 Transmission. So we have a pretty unusual transmission at the shop today. It's a NISMO Nissan GT-R R35 transmission. And this customer, I have a lot of respect for this customer. He bought this NISMO new and he drives it every day. He drives it everywhere. He racks miles up like crazy. This car has over 150,000 miles on it. This transmission was built a long time ago and it probably has about 130,000 miles on it since the build. So this is an excellent example to show how things wear, various problems, anything we need to work on to improve on our products or whatever. It's awesome to see a failed trans at 130,000 miles come in like this. And I have to give a shout out to the guys at BSE Performance. Bob Sobey at BSE did an incredible job on this car. He did his 1000 build early on in the car too. It still has their built engine, their turbos, everything on it with that many miles on it. And it's still a good car. It still runs and drives just great. It's really amazing. But let's take a look at this trans. So this trans broke 6th gear. As we can see here, broke a tooth off. It's just fatigue. And it had enough, and that was it. The trans was working perfectly before this gear broke. And then we look at here, we have some thrust wear in the hubs here. We make these hubs too in-house, so we can replace these hubs even if they have wear like this. So if you have a 6-gear hub or a 3.5 hub, those worn out, we sell those. But yeah, take a look at that, and look at the thrust wear on the top here. We'll get back to that in a minute. But yeah, look at the gear set. So 2, 4, 6 here, common wear points. So with this gear cluster, this is 6, it's got some wear on it, which is understandable, but it looks pretty darn good for being mated to a 6 gear that broke. 2nd, look at the teeth on that, it looks perfect. 4th, problem gear is 4th, always weak. Look at that. It's just absolutely beautiful in this PPG gear set. 1st gear, you see a lot of fretting on this surface here due to, and it causes bearing failures and then gear failures in time. Look at that, it looks brand new. It's just in beautiful condition. So, the gear sets, rest of the gear sets, I mean, they definitely have wear, but man, for 130,000 miles, it's pretty darn good. So right here, this thrust wear is due to the fact that the output shaft assembly was wandering in the trans. It was moving back and forth, and it was making contact with the case here. If you take a close look, we can see the witness marks where it was touching the case. So I had to take a close look at that to make sure that the thrust area here hasn't been compromised, because this is a weak area. But yeah, that's what happened, and what caused that are these billet plates that people sell. So what everybody has done is they copied the billet plate from the OEM design, and the OEM design doesn't have, it doesn't fit the shaft tightly in here. It's too loose. It causes too much thrust play. So people will put a shim in there, and in time the shim will wear out and go away. And when the shim is gone, you get too much thrust play, the assembly moves forward, and then that's when you have the impact to the case like that. So this is what happens to shimmed thrust plates. You do not want to use a shim thrust plate. So that's why we make our thrust plates that do not use a shim. Without a shim, you don't have this failure, and you don't have that going wrong in your trans. So yeah, that's another great example. High miles, that's what happens. And then we'll take a look at the clutch here. Standard Linny baskets, they really hit it out of park on these. 130,000 miles. Still look brand new, look at that. There's no wear in there from the splines on the friction. It looks absolutely perfect. And it's the same with the A basket too. This is an early Linny carrier that we've learned to machine to get them to work properly, but it did its job. These are real early carbon seals that we made. Again, this was a perfectly functioning trans before 6 let go. Carbon frictions, we love these carbon weave frictions. All of this is like new. You can see some wear on the steels, but that is absolutely typical of this. It's typical for a trans that has 10,000 miles on it. And for 130,000, that's really nice. I'm just gonna clean this stuff up. We could probably reuse all this stuff. It looks really nice. So, and we have this goo everywhere. Everything's gonna have to be torn apart and cleaned up. It's not looking all that great. it's just 130,000 miles worth of material in here. You see all the metal that is attracted to the magnets on the selector valve body as well. All that's going to have to be torn apart and cleaned up. And then we have, we look at the trash magnets here. I mean, look at all that picked up. Again, it had a failing 6th gear until it broke a tooth, so it makes sense. You're going to see a lot of material in here. And I got to hand it to the customer. They used paper line filters. These are absolutely amazing. They filter better than anything else on the market. Those of you who are using steel mesh filters are not doing yourselves any favors. All that stuff goes right into your valve bodies. But this paper line filter, I'd be willing to bet that when I take those valve bodies apart and clean them, they're going to be like new in there. They're going to be in really nice shape. So we can see here with the cover, all the stuff in there that it prevented from going through past the filter into the valve bodies. But yeah, so it's pretty neat to see a trans with this many miles on it in a car like a Nismo. I doubt anyone else on the planet's going to have a Nismo with over 150,000 miles on it, and a built one at that. But here you go. So yeah. So great job on this build, guys. You did excellent. I can't wait to build this trans, clean everything up, get it as good as new again, and get it back in a Nismo and put another 100K miles on it. Thanks for watching.